10 seconds.
Okay.
You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Well, all right. Here we getting it in for Saturday morning. Welcome. Real Deal Sports Show. Coming to you live through your speakers every Saturday morning. Real Deal Sports Show. WLGZ HD2, the Beat 105.5. And welcome to another Saturday morning of the Real Deal Sports Show. Welcome to the show, everybody. Every Saturday morning, you catch us for the next hour talking sports of all sorts. We get it in every Saturday for you. We're coming to you live from the Rock Palm Brokers Studios, live 559 State Street. Rock Palm Brokers. Hey, layaway is in play right now. Stop on through Rock Palm Brokers. If you want to buy it, get it today. If not, you want to save it for that rainy day. Hey, we're about to get some serious rainy days coming, y'all. It's in the air. So stop on by Rock Palm Brokers. Check them out and see what they have to offer. And if you need to use the layaway service, go right ahead and please feel free to do so right there at Rock Palm Brokers. Sammy Cruz and his whole crew is ready to serve you 7 days a week. Here we go with sports. Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Buccaneers Thursday night. And previously last Sunday, we had Buffalo at New England. And what a disappointing game. I told people, hey, watch that high point spread with the points with the Patriots. The Bills just could not get it together. They got it together late on offense. And then all of a sudden, the defense fell apart there at the end. Surely missing Matt Milano and Daquan Jones, especially Daquan Jones in the middle. And really Matt Milano. First, Matt Milano that running back would not have caught the ball on the sideline, coming down the sideline in that game against the Patriots on Sunday afternoon, where the running back Stevenson ran for 43 yards on a bubble screen pass right there on the last series of the game. And on top of it, the insult to injury, Andrews, the guard for the New England Patriots, was down the field too soon. The referee called it right, illegal man downfield. He threw the flag. That you saw the replay. Charles Davis, who was doing the game on TV, showed you the replay, and it was blatantly clear. Charles Davis pointed out number 60. You can see he was down the field, away from the line of scrimmage. And all of a sudden, the referees get in that huddle, and next thing you know, they pick the flag up. That's when I thought Sean McDermott, who's now the defensive coordinator and head coach, was concentrating on the defense and forgot. Or somebody upstairs, I don't know who's upstairs, buzzing down and say, hey, throw the red flag. The Bills should have protested that, threw the red flag, had it reviewed, and that should have been, after they reviewed it, they should have brought that play back, and that play should have been nullified, and it should have been a 10-yard penalty on the New England Patriots instead of a 43-yard gain by the New England Patriots. But New England played well all day. The Bills made Mac Jones look like he's a legitimate NFL quarterback. He had time to throw. He was doing his thing. They ran the ball. It was just, to me, one of those days. That was one of those games that the Bills should have pulled out. They wasn't playing well. They should have pulled that game out. Instead, they gave up the touchdown at the end, losing 28-25 in that contest to New England on Sunday. But Thursday night, they played better. They moved Jordan Poyer into the Teron Johnson, almost like a hybrid safety linebacker position. Jordan Poyer, that was a big move that they made, putting Jordan Poyer more closer to the line of scrimmage as a hybrid linebacker, acting as a linebacker. And he was over covering that tight end. And he seems to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical against the opponent's tight end than Teron Johnson. Because Teron Johnson, obviously, teams, ever since they saw the Giants, they've been picking on him. He's been getting beat. In these last couple of games. It was a nice adjustment made by the Buffalo Bills. And a matter of fact, talking about adjustments and talking about the quality defensive unit, we're going to go to an interview with a brief interview with Buffalo Bills defensive quality control guy, Eric Washington, and I asked Eric Washington about the excellent job that Poyer and Hyde do on the back end, and how opposing quarterbacks always mention that the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the National Football League at disguising their defensive scheme, play in and play out. Let's go to that Eric Washington interview.
Redney, Challenger Community News. Hope you're having a good day today.
Yes, sir.
A question I have for you. Baker Mayfield, during the press conference at the post game last night, he mentioned that the Poyer and Hyde, he had never seen that before, where both, he said normally what happens is, he said the Bills disguised it very well. And he said the thing, usually one of these safeties gives it away at the last second. He said those two guys, he said they must have been playing together forever, because he's never experienced where both of those guys were so in sync that one of them didn't give away what the actual coverage was going to be. What does that take to be that good at disguising coverages?
You have to have tremendous awareness, first of all, just understanding the defense that we're presenting, and just, knowledge of the shot clock, when the ball is actually going to be snapped, so that you can hold your look as long as possible. Because if we have a good idea when the ball is going to be snapped, then we can maintain the look or the shell of our defense. And those two guys, the awareness that they have because of the amount of years that they played just on their own, and then obviously together, is something that they can do together and still put themselves in a position to execute the call. So their experience individually and the chemistry that they have together in terms of working off each other is a big-time asset for us in that regard.
Yes, indeed, because almost every week, whoever the opponent, they always mention that how excellent the disguises are of the coverage. So they're definitely on point for sure. And last question, how your assessment of the defensive front last night, of their performance?
I was really happy. I thought this was one of the better performances in terms of us containing the run. We didn't have a lot of explosives there. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage in terms of that. And one of the things that we knew we had to get done was collapse the pocket around Baker Mayfield. We had to make sure that he didn't step up in the pocket, that we clouded the rush lanes with our height, with our power and physicality. So there were some positives there. I wanted to see us win a couple of more one-on-one situations and actually get our hands on the quarterback in a position we could hit him, try and get the ball away from him. But overall, really excited with the effort and some of the details that we knew we needed to do up front to give our team the best chance to win.
All right. Thank you very much, and good luck next week, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. That was quality control coordinator, defensive quality control coordinator, Eric Washington. Excellent, knowledgeable player back in the day, and also knows his football. And the defensive linemen were winning their one-on-one situations a lot better than they were on Sunday. They seem like, every game is different, just how they come out. But they seem to be really ready and playing winning their one-on-one battles. And even Von Miller with the leg, he was starting to win as that game, more and more reps he's getting, he's starting to feel it. You can see slowly but surely. It's going to be a long process. I don't expect to see Von Miller of what you saw last year, not until probably the playoffs or into next season. But he's going to be able to at least help the defense by being able to take up at least a man, maybe a double team. But in the meanwhile, with him out there, notice AJ Espinosa is playing very well. He's able to get in. He's coming in at full steam ahead. Shaq Lawson's doing very well. Leonard Floyd, my favorite guy out there of the edge rushers. Leonard Floyd is just a crafty veteran. Unfortunately, he had that face mask penalty on Baker Mayfield trying to wrestle him to the ground toward the end of the game. I thought that was a no-no. But other than that, those edge rushers are playing well. Ed Oliver back in the lineup. You need Ed Oliver out there. He showed you why Ed Oliver has to be out there on the field. Right, J-GILLZ? Good morning, J-GILLZ. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show.
Good morning. And absolutely, what a great, recollection of the game on Thursday night. Excellent game. I mean, like you said, when it comes to that Bills secondary, even though the blows that they have taken on every level of the defense, from the defensive line with Daquan Jones, from the linebacker with Matt Milano, and of course the secondary with the devastating injuries from Tre'Davious White, still and somehow this Bills defense is still known to be as lethal when it comes to that chemistry. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and just a crafty vet, number 1 pick, Baker Mayfield, and still he still acknowledges how crafty this Bills defense can be, and they're going to have to be every bit with this gauntlet of a schedule coming up moving forward.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that Baker Mayfield is not the first. Almost every time I'm usually into the go to the visiting team's locker room after the game to hear what the coach and also what the quarterback has to say, and almost verbatim, almost every week, the opposing quarterback always says the Bills, man, they disguise their coverages very well. Everybody mentions that in their post-game interview, and that just shows you if you don't know what their defense they're in, that helps slows you down. And then it really comes down to execution. They got to figure it out and may luck up and hit a big play, or may chances are they don't. And that's a reason why this Buffalo Bills defense bends but don't break, because a lot of times you don't know what the scheme is, what the coverage is, or if they're blitzing, what they're doing. And what they did the other night, bringing Jordan Poyer up to the linebacker spot, playing like a hybrid linebacker / safety. That was excellent, because he plays bigger, stronger than Teron Johnson up against those tight end, the opposing tight ends, and also helping to stop the run as well. That's one thing. Jordan Poyer has always been a very sure tackler and able to make plays happen. And J-GILLZ, we were in the press box going over the schedule. We were talking. We said, "Wow, the Bills really." They don't have a bye until week 13, but this kind of acts like a bye with the way they're scheduled. They played a Sunday night game a couple weeks ago. They played late. Then they played now, and now you got extra days to be off going into the Cincinnati game, and then after Cincinnati you have time because you don't play until the following Monday. So they kind of got like a mini bye type thing with the next 2 to 3 weeks schedule being on these. That's the benefit of being in these high profile nationally televised games. It helps give these guys a little bit of rest, and hopefully they can get to week 13 and get more people back. That can help. And also they need some help on that defensive front. I still think Kaiir Elam is probably on the trade blocks, may be gone. We may be able to see somebody, and Ndamukong Suh, he's available, but his agent's phone is ringing off the hook. They said, I read an article earlier in the week. So there's a lot of people looking for Ndamukong Suh right now. There's Devin White, the linebacker we saw the other night from Tampa Bay, Levante David. There's guys there. Chicago has some guys. Tennessee Titans, they're already trading off guys to the Eagles. I don't know if they got stock in the Philadelphia Eagles or not, but man, they sending a lot of people over to the Eagles, man. You would think they would get tired of trading with one team and not getting the best of the deals when they trade with the Eagles, man. So I don't get what that is, what their love for the Eagles are right now, man. Right, J-GILLZ?
Oh, absolutely. But to your point, right, man, when you're talking about the initial point that you talked about, just these teams have to understand that continuity is everything. Sean McDermott has had the same defensive scheme for the last 6-7 years. We have to go into being accountable and stop making all these drastic changes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How about you run? How about you get a defensive scheme? How about you run that scheme and you run it consistently until every player on that defense knows exactly how to do it? We have to continue to be consistent and have continuity with your defense. That way when you have major injuries, you'll be able to still settle and still get the job done. Even with the crafty veterans like a Micah Hyde and a Jordan Poyer, who they could just be as well as retired next year. And then you can plug the guys in like a Taylor Rapp, you know what I mean? And a Leonard Floyd, and they haven't missed a beat. Because something has to say for continuity. So all these defensive coordinators, these new coaches are trying to fire everybody every which way. Be consistent for a while, all right? Be consistent. That's all I got to say.
It is, and they really do need to be consistent and make a good call on your defense. And you look at the other side, their opponent from Thursday night, Tampa Bay, they have been consistent. They still have a large portion of their Super Bowl defense. Their offense guys have some, and their offense as well, really. You look at Tampa Bay, they lost a few players. Obviously, Tom Brady retired. The coaching changed. Todd Bowles is the coach there. I'm questioning some of his moves in that game. I like Todd Bowles a lot, man. I like him as a defense coordinator, but man, some of those moves I really question in that contest. But We have an interview. Yeah, right. I don't think so after this season, Todd. I think he's more of a defensive coordinator than a head coach. But definitely, we got an interview with Antoine Winfield Jr., and that's brought to you by Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American publication. Pick up Challenger Community News in most businesses throughout the community. Remember, follow the show on Twitter, and also check us out on Facebook. It's Facebook Live right now as well, and also YouTube. Don't remember to subscribe. You get your notifications. Thank you very much. And let's go to that interview with Antoine Winfield Jr.
What is that? I covered your dad for many years here in Buffalo.
That's crazy.
What is it? But I know it is. I can't believe we're still doing this. But
That's awesome.
What is it about this stadium coming in here? Winfield's always seem to make a play here.
It's awesome. So I remember I was young when he played here. So I don't recall too many of the games, but it's great to come to like this environment. Also come to Minnesota because that's where I was able to go to the game. So It's cool to come back and play on the field that my dad played on.
Absolutely, and you played just like him actually. Where you came in, what happened? Can you take us through that play with Josh Allen where you deflected the pass?
Yeah. I just seen him about to throw the ball, put my hand up and hit the ball, and ball shot up in the air, and Will made the play and came down with it. It was awesome play by Will.
It came on a ricochet almost.
Yeah.
Back over because it went back over toward the line of scrimmage. What you said did endpoint? Did the Bills have anything on film that you guys could see that you could be successful with defensively?
Yeah, but we had to execute our game plan a little bit better. Our goal was to contain Allen as much as possible because we know he's good on his feet and able to extend the plays, and we just got to make sure we make more plays on our end so we can win these games.
Yes. Go ahead. What role does your faith play in it?
There's always going to be adversity. So all you can do is overcome that and just continue to go to work. Every time we get a chance to practice, just making sure that we're getting better, and that's all you can really do.
And what's the key for the rest of the season? Is that what you're going with, the mantra?
Just keep coming in, coming up. Yeah, going to work and getting better. That's all we can do.
All right, last but not least, for your personal goals for this upcoming season.
Just win as many games as possible. That's all I want to do.
And there you have it. That was Antoine Winfield Jr., cornerback, defensive back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His father was a shutdown cornerback with the Buffalo Bills, Antoine Winfield Sr., outstanding player. He never should have left Buffalo. Matter of fact, on the other corner was a guy by the name of Nate Clements. Those two guys were the closest shutdown corners the Bills had, two of them at one time. And unfortunately, Ralph Wilson, with his cheap self, didn't want to pay him. And they both went via free agency. Free agency has started up already, and they both took big contracts with other teams. Matter of fact, Antoine Winfield went to the Minnesota Vikings and played the rest of his career. I think he played almost 12, 13 years with them altogether, counting his years in Buffalo as well. He was already an all-pro in Buffalo, and he continued to be an all-pro. And I never saw a cornerback that could come up and make a tackle at the line of scrimmage like Antoine Winfield Sr. That guy could wrap up a running back like it was nothing at the line and drop him just that quick. Reminds me of how Matt Milano tackles currently for the Bills in this era right now. The same type. He always gets their legs, goes down low, because Antoine Winfield was a small guy, go down low, wrap up the legs, and bring him to the ground. So I'm glad to talk to his son. And boy, this shows you when you be around something long enough, you go from the dad, and now I'm interviewing the son. So Antoine Winfield Jr., he definitely won a Super Bowl ring, has a Super Bowl ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of those guys in the locker room we interviewed. Levante David. What's your takeaway from that Tampa Bay locker room, J-GILLZ?
It's a very veteran locker room. As you said before, a lot of Super Bowl champions. One thing that Tom Brady did, he came in there, he instilled confidence in each and every one of these players. Todd Bowles. That's why this is, to me, the key story. How much faith does this team, specifically the defense, have in a head coach, Todd Bowles? Because when I looked at Todd Bowles, he just looked like a shell of himself. Interim coach for the Miami Dolphins, former coach of the New York Jets. He's been there before. He's a defensive coordinator who became a champion. And when I see him at the podium in the press conference, he just didn't have what it took, in my opinion. Obviously, it's a short week. You're traveling to Buffalo. This is their third straight loss. For a team that has the stature and the precedent of guys, a Levante David, all-pro player. David White, all-pro player. Granted, they were missing their massive. I'm telling you, when I saw this guy in person, for those of you who know who Vita Vea is, man, when I tell you the reason that that defense was able to execute as they were, Vita Vea is a massive human being. He didn't get a chance to play, but he was sitting down in front of the locker, and he took up 3 lockers, right, man. I mean, I'm telling you, this guy, talk about a nose tackle, talk about a guy who's going to get paid if he ever decides to leave Tampa Bay. He's going to get paid because that man is huge. You know, he opens up so much for that defense. But and then, like you said, we just talked to Antoine Winfield Jr. They got so many pieces, so it's really disappointing, and it's really no excuse for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be this god-awful, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Because they said that they do say that Todd Bowles is different in practice and different around the facility than he is with the media, and definitely because he definitely, it was funny. He was asked a question about the play where the guy allowed the runner to pass downfield, and he turns around and says, "Which one are you talking about?" So I was like, "Yeah, see, the play happened 4 times, man."
Were you watching the game?
Right. I said, man, come on, your defense, something going on here, man. How your defense allowing that play to happen over and over again? And you're right, the Bills ran up the middle. They were getting key yards in the middle. One thing I think Buffalo needs to work on, as you saw DeAndre Hardy on those punt returns, get that man in space, get James Cook in space. Why are you wasting James Cook by running him up the middle? He's not an in-between-the-tackle running back. Leave that to Latavius Murray. And Tyson Johnson, he's an in-between-the-tackle guy. We didn't even see him get 1 touch. He was only on special teams. So I don't get why they don't use the specialty of the guys they have. It's like Dorsey is trying to run an offense he wants to run, but not using the skill set of the individual players. That's what I see wrong with Dorsey. He just seems incapable of putting together the guys, using them. Use Hardy on the jet sweep, some reverses. Get him in space. How about, you ever heard of a screen pass? I asked him that. Throw a screen pass to Hardy or throw one to James, especially James Cook. Because both of those guys are the fastest guys on the Bills team. People in the media talk about, or you hear people on national media, oh, the Bills are slow. They don't have, the Bills got speed. They just don't use the speed guys. They use the slower guys instead of the speed guys. I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense how, Gabe Davis made some catches. Spread that football around. If Josh Allen is able to spread the football around with running plays, screen passes, getting Hardy and James Cook more in the offense, and getting those guys bubble screens, just like New England ran. Throw a simple bubble screen to James Cook and let this guy get some space and let him make some moves. Let this guy go. Don't run him in between the tackles, man. When you did, he ran the ball 11 times for 55 yards. That's over 5 yards a carry. Why wouldn't you give the guy the ball more? If the guy is still getting 5.5 because if Vita was out, the middle was open. Why wouldn't you continue to feed him in the third quarter and going into the fourth quarter, run the football when you had a 2-touchdown lead? You could have ran so much clock up or down and probably got the ball down and scored or kicked a field goal. The game would have been out of reach. You got to learn how to put these teams away. The Bills haven't been able to put teams away since they've been back from London. I don't know what the heck happened over there in London, but they haven't been the same team since they came back from London. J-GILLZ.
Absolutely. And what you're talking about is the offensive side of the ball. And granted, there haven't been any major changes on the offensive side. It's all about scheme and how they're running it. And you're right, they have not been the same team. Before the London game, they were averaging 41 points a game. They've dropped down drastically, only 20 points a game. And something's going to have to change.
It's going to have to change for sure because they got 10 days off. They're going to have a high-powered Cincinnati Bengal team that's coming back from the West Coast. They're going to play San Francisco, and guess what? They play San Francisco without Purdy. We're going to see Sam Darnold in there. Sam, I don't know what I'm doing, Darnold. Oh, man, this is another guy, but can he work in this system? Because Sam Darnold, you put pressure on him, he's going to turn the football over. So that's going to be an interesting game to watch. I'm going to keep my eye on that game tomorrow. Cincinnati at San Francisco. That's going to be a good one. We're going to get to our NFL picks in a little bit. But next up, we have our next guest on, and we have a well-known sports reporter, local sports reporter with the Democrat and Chronicle newspaper. He covers sports of all sorts. Check out his column each day in the Democrat Chronicle newspaper, Mr. James Johnson. James, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
All right. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Doing great. How's it going with the sectionals? I'm here to have you on talking high school football. There's been a lot of good games in the A division as well as Double A. I see they played a lot of football last night. What's your take on the various divisions, starting with Double A?
It's all pretty interesting. We've moved into the semifinals now. In Double A, I believe McQuaid is the team to beat. They have a string of championships. This year, they've come back to win. They've won a lot of different ways. I mean, they've won without the starting quarterback. They've rallied to win. They've gone to games where they should win and handle their business. It should be interesting to see if McQuaid can finish off this run. University Prep or UPrep looked like the team to beat in Double A for most of the season. They lost their regular season finale, and there were other coaches in the area who took a look at their team, maybe even scrimmaged their team, and said that is the team to beat in the area. So you have Aquinas still in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we just watched them lose to McQuaid. The game came down to a one play, 2-point conversion. And Aquinas has lost to 3 teams this year.
Mm-hmm.
They played one of them, Pittsburgh, and beat them. I believe they're going to play McQuaid in the semifinals.
Correct.
And so they'll have a chance to beat them. And if UPrep makes it to the final and Aquinas makes it to the final, that'll be the third team that they've played. Basically a rematch is what I'm trying to say.
Right. And they're a tough team. They're a young team. They look very young. And
Absolutely, right, man. Great point.
Very
Young team.
Yeah, Trent Buttles is a freshman. He's their quarterback. I believe his best receiver, or at least the 2 times I've seen him live, he's also a receiver. You have a young running back who carried the mail last night. I think he had 32 carries for 230, 40, maybe even 250 yards. So they basically got their offense on track after losing to Pittsburgh 6-0. Coach Mo Jackson kind of pointed some things out to some people and said, hey, we can't make this mistake here and this mistake there. Or, although that's why we're not making it to the end zone. And they've kind of boosted their offensive production since.
That's good. So that's a good point. J-GILLZ, questions you have for James?
Absolutely. So what do you think it is about McQuaid that has just allowed them to just be so successful this year? I know a lot of that coaching staff has been together a long time. We just talked about the continuity of the Buffalo Bills and that defense, even after injuries, after running a system for so long, everybody buying in. What is it about McQuaid that just has allowed them to be so successful, especially this season, in your opinion?
I think you answered your own question. The coaching staff prepares the players so well, and the players, once they understand or believe in what they're being, told or coached and how they're being coached. I mean, they go into every game knowing they have a shot. They know that they're prepared. They know that, there's a plan. And if we follow the plan, we're going to come out ahead, whether it's by 1 point or turning back a team trying to win on a 2-point conversion, or if it's a blowout or a runaway game. You know, everybody has the power of, you know, we know what we're doing, we know what's going on. You know, players to coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So you answered your own question. I really think, because, you know, and this isn't going to sound good, but, you know, there's not really anyone when you see them on the field and you're like, oh wow, you know, that's a clear-cut Division I prospect or a freakish athlete or anything like that. But, you know, if you watch them play, and they're a good team.
Yes, indeed they are. You know what? We're gonna go to an interview with that I conducted after last week's game. Last week's game with Andre Fontenette. So, batsman, if we could hear what Andre Fontenette had to say about their running game.
What was the key to your victory in the second half? You guys look like you came out running the football in the second half.
We talked as a staff, and we decided we wanted to run the ball downhill, and that's what we did. You know, we decided that instead of running sideline to sideline, we want to go north-south running, and that's what we did, and we were able to establish the run game in the second half.
It looked like Hardy and Nesbitt are really good options. They run differently, different styles.
Yeah.
It seemed like it really hurt.
John's a east-west runner, can find that hole and get up the field. Allen's more of a north-south runner, like I said, and we needed a north-south runner in the second half, and that's what Allen produced for us.
And he's explosive.
Oh yeah, he's an explosive kid, and he's only a junior. He's coming back next year. He won't come off the field next year at all.
Wow. And you mentioned that about possibly.
Yeah. He's trying to become a orthodontist, and Alan Naismith, and you know, he's all over the country traveling, trying to figure out where he's going to go. He was at UCLA last weekend, so his future is very bright.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. That was Andre Fontenette giving us a little inside look at that McQuaid team that we're talking about, James, how effective that team can be running the football. They're a very strong running the football team. And a matter of fact, James, we're going to go right back. We're going to go to Alan Nesbitt and hear what Alan had to say about his performance in running the football.
Very impressive running style. Who do you pattern your running style after?
Personally, I just go off my mentor, which is my senior in front of me, Johnny Harding. He coaches me up, and I go off of him. I mean, whatever he tells me to get better, I just listen. And because at the end of the day, I got to fill the gap next year, so I'm just ready and waiting for my chance. And whenever I get to go out there, I just make something happen.
It seems like you guys really complement each other, because he's more of a straight ahead, slow runner, and then hits the hole. But you are very explosive, man. You really hit that hole hard. Is that? Are you a track guy?
Absolutely, I do track. I do indoor and outdoor. I main in like hurdling, long jumping, high jumping. So that's where I get my explosiveness. And I do a lot of fast 55s, 100s. So that's where I get my explosiveness from.
What was the key for you in the second half? Because you seemed like you saw the hole. Looked like you could really see the holes really well.
Second half, I mean, I'm just happy to do it with my guys. I mean, coming out here every Friday night with my guys is it's just amazing. And I think that nothing's better. I mean, you don't get this every night. This is a one-in-a-lifetime thing, and I'm just here to enjoy it.
Excellent. One last question. I understand you might be thinking about being an orthodontist?
I am thinking about being an orthodontist, actually. I plan to attend the University of California, UCLA, and to study biology.
Absolutely. How did that come about? How did you get there? What piqued your interest in that field?
Coming in as a sixth grader to McQuaid Jesuit Excellent Learning Program. One of my friend's fathers is actually a dentist, and I went to his office and I got to experiment a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be a dentist, but I want to be an orthodontist. That sparked my career young.
What's the difference? What's the orthodontist do?
Dentist does organic hygiene, like filling cavities, and orthodontist just puts on braces and stuff.
Oh, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
Congratulations.
Right.
And for next week, what do you think you get prepared for next week's game?
I mean, we just got to prepare. We got a long week of practice in front of us. Our coaches are amazing, and I think we're going to be prepared. We're going to be ready whoever we have to play.
Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed, gentlemen. Alan Nesbitt, man, gave me an educational lesson, because I didn't know the difference between a dentist and orthodontist, J-GILLZ and James. I was like, wow, let me ask this guy, because I don't even know what the difference is. But obviously, this good young man is serious, man. He's a serious athlete and a serious academia scholar, too, as well. Obviously, from the conversation and the heavy book work that he's taken over there at McQuaid. Right, J-GILLZ?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you educated me too. I thought it was all in the same, but no, it's just levels to this. You know what I mean? And he said he ain't want to be a dentist. He wants to be an orthodontist. And he explained why. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But to be able to be as elite on the field and have your head right off the field, we have to shout out McQuaid because they're not just producing a good football team, but they're producing a great group of men. And that's exactly what this community in this world needs.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, James. Right, James. What's your commentary?
I didn't know there was a difference either. But see, that's why he's going to make a lot of money, and I might have some catching up to do.
Same here. I didn't know. I said, "Well, what's the difference?" I thought they were. I'm thinking to myself, I'm talking. Oh, I thought they're the same thing. Wait a minute. What is he differentiating? So I'm glad I asked him that question. And James, did you know he's very explosive? It seems like that track and field background is very, very helpful for his playing ability.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. He did kind of get the offense moving a little bit more when he started to get more carries. I definitely agree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's very explosive off the ball. He sees that hole where Harding is more like the running back that used to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day. He reminded me of him. He kind of like takes it slow, get to a hole, and then he finds the hole, and then he boom. Then he uses more. Then he takes off, and it's like a slight delay. So to me, it's a nice contrast between those two running backs. And then last night in the first round of the playoffs, they had another guy. I was like, man, another guy was out there running all over people, all over Russian red. Man, they left cleat marks all over the chest of those Russian Henrietta ball players last night, man. I hope they can, as long as we can get those cleat marks off those jerseys, man. Man, that was something to see, man, how they ran all over them, man.
Yeah.
Man, it was 48-14 was the final. So I guess that was just a tune-up for them for the Aquinas game next weekend. So that should be a good game next week. UPrep playing very well. But one thing, Jen, why is it that UPrep seems to fall in? They're like the Buffalo Bills. They'll blow somebody out, and then they turn around and lose a game 6-0 or 12-6, or like they can't really score the next game. What is it about that UPrep team, James?
Well, I mean, they're high school. Everybody's still in high school. We got to remember that. These aren't the Bills, you know what I'm saying, where you expect them to go up and down the field every week. You know, you're going to have clunkers in there. You know, these are teenagers. Sometimes it doesn't come together every week. But I mean, we got to remember they've only lost one game. So
That's going to be interesting. That's right. How about East next week? East and Canandaigua, another rematch. I think they were the championship game of that A division a year ago. Now they're playing in the semifinals this coming season, next weekend.
Yeah, whenever these two teams in Class A play each other, you know, it's one of the best games of the year, or at least the most anticipated. East is very explosive. To use your word, you know, you look at their box scores, they got, you know, 4 or 5 different people scoring touchdowns. I'm really impressed with the quarterback, Zamir Jackson. I don't know, he's got like an old school flavor to him. He's commanding the game. He's running the game. You know, he's running the offense. He can beat you with his legs, but he can also throw that ball down the field. And he doesn't just throw the ball up in the air, willy-nilly putting it up for grabs. He protects the ball. So therefore you have more room to score more points because you have the ball.
Exactly. And they're very consistent. Where I was saying, making the point earlier, UPrep doesn't seem to be as consistent, but East, like you just said, they seem to be a more consistent football team.
Yeah. And you know, I do have to mention their defense is very fast, very I shouldn't say suffocating, but that's they're all over you. Yeah, they're all over you. And they show up. The East High defense shows up every week to week.
All right, and next one, Class B. Is there anybody that can beat Monroe in Class B?
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. When they played the two teams that had the best shot, you would think those games were both one-sided. So, I think Monroe's the only team that can beat Monroe.
Right?
And they haven't done that even. They haven't beat themselves at all this year either. So, good luck waiting for that to happen.
Yeah. Because they lost on a Hail Mary last year to Batavia, and they just beat the daylights out of them this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the defense was exceptional in that sectional final, and then they finally get the points that they need, but you got to play it all the way to the end in a Hail Mary, and that was it. They should be working on a repeat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that Hail Mary was something else. That just to lose on a play like that, where it ricocheted off of one guy. They defended the play, but the ball ricocheted, and it just happened to go back to a guy that happened to be there for Batavia, and it was just a lucky catch on that play that propelled Batavia to the victory, upset victory on the last play of the game on that Hail Mary play, because they outplayed Batavia in that contest for sure. It was a hard-fought game, and they really took it to heart. And they coming back and they rolling right through that division. So I'm looking forward to seeing them get out of the regional and get out of the local area and get into the regional play with the Buffalo and the teams up in upper New York State, downstate teams in the sectional. So I'm definitely looking for them. And last but not least, me and you got to talk baseball. What's your take on this World Series, Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Texas Rangers? That game last night went extra innings. I thought Arizona should have won that in regulation, but they ended up giving up the tie. Corey Seager with the tying home run, and then Dallas Garcia won it in extra innings for Texas to escape with a victory. What's your take on this series?
I'm surprised both teams made it here.
Same here.
I mean, the Rangers haven't stopped hitting. And John Smoltz kept pointing out that they're deeper than that. They do some other things that maybe they don't get credit for, but they're certainly on fire hitting the ball. I didn't think they would get by the Astros, but you have someone. I think he has like 20 RBI in the postseason, and it seems like everything he's hitting is going out of the ballpark.
Yes, he's real hot.
Except for the one time he just watched the ball and didn't run the first, but he still got on. It went to the wall. I think me and my crew, we think that the Diamondbacks are going to win because there's no expectations. It seems like there's less pressure on them. But I mean, they had the Rangers. They had a 2-run lead on the Rangers, and Seager just
came through. And they don't play well at home, the Texas Rangers. They play better on the road than they do at home, just like the Houston Astros. And that was a crazy series that went. The road team won every game in that series, which is rare to see something like that happen. And I agree with you. I like Arizona. I picked Arizona before the game after I looked it over. I like Marino, the catcher they got from my Toronto Blue Jays. I don't know why we gave him up. We should have got rid of Kirk because this dude Marino, to me, his upside, he's very young. The Blue Jays should have kept him in Buffalo or brought him up at September and had him play and get some playoff experience with the Toronto Blue Jays. Instead, they trade him, and they trade Laura Gurriel to the Arizona, and then they add in, they say, we'll give you this catcher like he ain't nothing. I'm saying, hell, this is your future right here. Why the hell would you trade your future? They traded Marino, and now look at Marino. He's looking just the way I thought he would because he had glimpses of that with Toronto, and he's only like 18, 19. You're very young. He's a kid, basically, out there playing with grown men. But he's getting the experience, right, James?
Yeah. I guess Toronto thought that we're gonna push all our chips into the middle of the table, and but who is their catcher now?
Kirk, Jansen, Jansen and Kirk is their two catchers. They're the two catcher system.
Are these older guys? Are they
Yes.
veterans?
Yes, Jansen's Jansen's been around a long time for them, and Kirk is been around long enough. But his hitting, where he goes into slumps, he's a streak hitter, and Kirk would have been the one I would have gotten rid of. Either one of them I would have gotten rid of, but Kirk more because Jansen's more of a clutch hitter. I would have kept Jansen. I would have let Kirk. I would have threw Kirk in. I wouldn't have thrown because Marino is their future. So I don't know why they would give away a high quality talent like that Marino to the Arizona Diamondbacks. But you can see they're very happy with him. He's starting every game.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm guessing in Toronto that you're not happy with.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole other story for another day, James. But last but not least, you said you like the Diamondbacks winning this series.
Yeah, but I mean, what does that mean? I mean, I didn't expect them to get there. So
no.
Obviously, I've been picking against them. I picked against them in the league championship series round. So who knows? But that's who I'm leaning towards. That's who I want to win. But it's hard to bet against old Buckethead. That's the Rangers manager, Bruce Bochy. So
yeah, he seems to know how to win some playoff World Series. He got 3 of them. Most of them with the San Francisco Giants. He's a very good manager. Him and Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker great announced his retirement after 26 illustrious years as managing in Major League Baseball. Happy for Dusty Baker. Finally to say, hey, 74 years old, time to retire from managing and do something else. And we remember him with the Dodgers as a player in the 70s with Steve Garvey and all of those guys. Reggie Smith, all the guys on that great LA Dodger team as a player, became a good manager. And his son's a good player. I interviewed his son here that plays for the Rochester Red Wings. He's part of the Washington Nationals organization.
Oh, okay.
He's a very good hitter. So keep an eye out on him too, James. Keep an eye on him. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on the show, James. How can people follow you and catch up with your articles and your social media?
Website is Democrat, the word "and" spelled out, and chronicle.com. On Twitter, it's JJD and ANDC. JJD and C on Twitter.
Beautiful. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, James Johnson from the Democrat Chronicle newspaper. We're definitely got to have you back, and you continue to make today your day and continue to talk sports of all sorts.
All right. You guys be good.
All right. Take care. And then next point, our last segment of the show is brought to you by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1028 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call. Give the friend of the show a call at area code 585-360-0094. Give Miriam Rivera a call. If she saved me and my family a hell of a lot of money, I guarantee you she can save you and your family on Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance. Miriam Rivera, make sure you check her out. And also Image Printer, Marketing and Publishing Company. Give a friend of the show, Manuel Floyd, does all our business cards, our banners, tents, and all of that good stuff. You need those tents? Well, you don't need it today on this windy, rainy day. But like we had a beautiful thing there on 10 Katy Street, people had to pop up tents or in the summer for barbecues and events and different things, social gatherings. Give Image Printer a call. He even makes those church fans for churches. He's all about printing. Manuel Floyd, Image Printer, Marketing and Publishing Corporation. Give him a call, area code 585-360-0132. And that leads us into our picks of the week. Hey, I told you last week, we won some people some hell of a lot of money last week. I hope you were rolling with the Rad Man last week, because I was good on some of those picks from a week ago, which came out, especially the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've been telling you for the last 25, 30 years, I've studied the Steelers. When the Steelers getting 3 points or more, when the Steelers are ever getting points, 9 times out of 10, they always cover. And also, they seem to win those games like they did last week in LA, California. They took over. The Steeler fans, Steeler Nation took over SoFi Stadium. Just took it over. I thought that we were in Pittsburgh watching that game late last Sunday afternoon. The Steelers came into SoFi, ran the Rams right out of the building, and came away with the win, and they were getting 3 points. So I told you about the Steelers. Definitely always keep an eye on them. This week, speaking of the Steelers, -2 is almost a pick 'em against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who's playing some very good football right now. I like the Steelers winning this game. Keep an eye on it. It may be a 1-point game or a field goal. I like the Steelers winning that game outright over Jacksonville at home. They don't have the offense going, but I think they can shut down the Jags enough and force Trevor Lawrence into some turnovers in that contest. Keep an eye on that one. Philadelphia at Washington. Washington getting 8. I like Washington at home with the 8 points. I don't think they're going to allow another team like the Buffalo Bills came in and blew them out early in the season. The Eagles are starting to have some injury trouble, just like everybody else in the National Football League on their offensive line. I like Washington with the 8 points, or if they're getting 7 or 8, take Washington. I still think Philly could win this game. Philly should end up winning the game, but I think Washington, I like those 8 points with Washington for sure. LA at Dallas. Dallas coming off a bye week. This is just a bad matchup for the Rams. The Cowboys coming off of that bye. I think the Cowboys are going to be healthy, come out there and pull away, because Stanford and them, they just don't have enough talent right now around that team. Aaron Donald is still dangerous. They still have some dangerous guys on defense and on the offensive side of the ball. I like the Cowboys covering that spread against the Rams. Also, New England at Miami. New England always gives Miami fits. If it's a 10-point spread, take the Patriots with the points. I told people last week, hey, man, take the points, and they unfortunately upset my Buffalo Bills last week. Take the points with New England. Take the points with the Patriots again. I think they'll find a way. They can run the ball. You can run on the Miami Dolphins. People talk about running on the Bills' defensive front here in Western New York. Well, hey, man, they got a serious problem down there in Miami with stopping the running game. Did you see how the Philadelphia Eagles just ran the football, and then when they needed to, Jalen Hurts made some key passes to complement the passing game. Now, they're the coordinator. I like how that's how you do it. You run the football until the team stops you from running. Dorsey, take a look at what these guys are doing, man. That's why Philly is where they are in that position. But we're talking New England Patriots. Take the Patriots in the points. Miami should win the game outright, but take the points. I think the Patriots will be in that game. Right back, Spin.
I mean, if you say so, Redman, I trust your judgment. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on a roll right now. I've been rolling with it. One other game, Denver is just getting rid of players. Tennessee getting rid of players right now. It's going to be interesting. Atlanta at Tennessee. Tennessee had the bye week. I have a feeling Tennessee's defense is going to be jacked up. Mike Vrabel, last week in New England when the Bills were playing at New England, that he went up in the Ring of Honor. They put him in the Ring of Honor there. Well-deserved as a player. Yeah. And I think he's going to come back with a victory. So I would take, and that's another pick'em game, take Tennessee to take over, to beat the Atlanta Falcons in that one. And the game of the day, Cincinnati at San Francisco with Purdy. Purdy may play. If Purdy plays, the San Francisco will cover the spread. If he's not playing, take Cincinnati in the 3 to 4 points. It'd probably be a 4 point spread. I got a 4 point on here. Take the Bengals if Purdy's not starting for the 49ers. And there you have it for my key picks of the week. And I'm not even going Detroit and Vegas on Monday night. Hey, Vegas, I can't tell what they do. When I pick them, I lose money on them. So I'm staying away from them. I ain't even messing with the Raiders, man. Even though they're getting 10 points in Detroit, that looks really good. But man, in the Saints, hey, Baxman, what the heck is wrong with Derek Carr, man? That guy.
I just traded away Chris Olave off my fantasy team because of Derek Carr. I can't trust the guy, which means I can't trust for my guy to get the ball when he needs to get the ball. So I got rid of him. I picked up Zay Flowers and A-Chain for Ramondre Stevenson. I gave up Ramondre Stevenson and Olave for Zay Flowers and A-Chain. And I know, Zay Flowers has become the number one receiver over there in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson loves throwing this guy the ball. So I need people on my fantasy team who's going to produce, you know what I'm saying, and who's going to get the targets. that I need him to get. And if your quarterback can't get you the ball, well, hey, that sucks for me as you being my wide receiver. So
Exactly.
I had to let him go.
Well, Baxman, does that explain why the Josh McDaniels and the Raiders last year locked him out the building and told him don't even come to the facility no more? Will, your paycheck is in the mail. We don't even want to see you no more. The last 3 weeks of last season. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Now you see why.
Yep.
Sometimes you wonder, man, what's going on? Why they locking this guy out the building? They don't even. I mean, man, they really pissed off with this guy that bad. They don't even want him in. They don't want him on the property. Now you see it why. Because sometimes you just wonder because we don't see. They see him every day. They see him come to the building every day. Meet. So imagine what he was like in meetings if the way he carried on the field and embarrassed his receivers like he did. Chris Olave, somebody should have punched him in the face in the locker room, man. How you gonna just embarrass your receivers like that?
He just got arrested too, so you don't even know what's going on with this guy. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy to get away from him. He didn't do much for me this season, you know.
Absolutely. You made the right move. That was a good pickup that you were able to make a deal like that.
Yeah, I thought so too. So I'm happy with what I did. You know, my transaction. Thank you to my boy Smoke for allowing that trade and making that trade with me. And I'm trying to win the chip back to back. I won last year. I'm trying to win it again this year. So we gonna see how it all turns out, right, man.
There you go. Because the quiet as it kept, there was rumored the Bills wanted Zay Jones too. Zay
Flowers.
Zay Flowers. The Bills was hoping that but Baltimore took him before the Bills could get to him, and they ended up going with Dalton Kincaid, who, if they use him properly, he looked like he already catching the ball way better than Dawson Knox. I mean, this guy uses his hands to catch. I mean, he made a beautiful catch.
He got busy. He got busy Thursday night.
Yeah, good. Turn this guy loose. Bills got talent.
Yep, he did. We got to get up out of here, Rad, man. We gonna check back in with you guys next week. Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. Rad, man. We'll check back in next week, man. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
Yes, sir. Keep it locked right where you got it, Rock City. Y'all know the vibes. The Beat 105.5 Back in Time Mix Show was on deck. Keep it locked.